She whispered her shocking offer. The alien queen wants me to continue her line. The unexpected summons. The bioluminescent plankton danced beneath the transparent floor of Marcus Chen's research station, casting ethereal blue patterns across his weathered face. He'd been alone on Thalassa's floating laboratory for 3 months, studying the moon's unique marine ecosystems, when the sleek silver vessel descended from the purple-tinged sky. Marcus set down his data tablet, watching as the craft's iridescent hull reflected the ocean's glow. The Celestine Empire's seal, a constellation of 7 stars forming a crown, gleamed on its side. His heart quickened. In 5 years of research contracts across the outer systems, he'd never warranted attention from the Empire's core worlds. The airlock hissed open, revealing 3 figures in flowing midnight blue robes. Their leader, a woman with silvery skin that seemed to shimmer with its own inner light, stepped forward. "Dr. Marcus Chen," she announced, her voice carrying an otherworldly melody. "Empress Lirelei Stellaris requests your immediate presence." "There must be some mistake," Marcus stammered, running his hand through his disheveled black hair. "I'm just a marine biologist. I study algae and fish, not anything that would interest." "The Empress does not make mistakes," the guard interrupted gently but firmly. "She specifically requested you. Please gather your essential belongings. We depart within the hour." The journey to Stellaris Prime took 2 days through hyperspace. Marcus spent most of it in his assigned quarters, a luxurious suite that made his research station feel like a storage closet. Through the viewing portal, he watched stars streak by in rivers of light, wondering what possible reason an empress could have for summoning him. When they finally arrived, the capital city took his breath away. Crystalline spires reached toward the lavender sky, connected by bridges that seemed woven from starlight itself. The palace sat at the city's heart, a magnificent structure that appeared to be carved from a single massive pearl. As the guards escorted him through corridors lined with living murals, walls that shifted and changed their artistic displays like dreams, Marcus felt increasingly out of place in his simple research attire. They stopped before towering doors inlaid with constellation patterns. "The Empress awaits," the lead guard announced, and the doors parted silently. Marcus stepped into a throne room that defied description, where light itself seemed to dance in reverence to the figure seated upon the crystalline throne. Empress Lirelei Stellaris was beauty incarnate, her long silver hair floating as if underwater, her violet eyes holding the depth of nebulas. When she smiled at his approach, Marcus felt his world shift on its axis. The whispered proposition. The Empress rose from her throne with fluid grace, her gossamer gown trailing behind her like captured moonlight. The courtiers and guards withdrew at her subtle gesture, leaving Marcus alone with the most powerful being in 3-star systems. His pulse thundered in his ears as she descended the steps, each movement deliberate and mesmerizing. "Dr. Chen," Lirelei's voice was soft, intimate, nothing like the commanding tone he'd expected. "Thank you for answering my summons. Please, walk with me." She led him through an archway into a private garden chamber where bioluminescent flora created a canopy of soft light. Water trickled through floating fountains that defied gravity, their droplets forming spiraling patterns in the air. The sweet scent of alien blossoms filled his senses. "Your research on emotional resonance in marine ecosystems," she began, pausing beside a pool where ethereal fish swam in lazy circles. "It caught my attention. You understand connections that transcend simple biology." Marcus struggled to focus on her words rather than the way starlight seemed to gather in her eyes. "It's just theoretical work, Your Majesty. The idea that organisms can form empathic bonds through bioelectric fields." "Is not just theory," she interrupted gently, turning to face him fully. The proximity made his breath catch. "My people, the Celestine, have long possessed this ability. We call it the heart bond, a connection deeper than physical, deeper than mental. It's how we choose our life partners." She stepped closer, close enough that he could see the subtle constellation patterns that decorated her skin like living tattoos. "For 3 centuries, I have ruled alone. The heart bond cannot be forced or arranged. It simply is, or isn't." Her hand rose toward his chest, stopping just short of touching. "Until I sensed you." Marcus's world tilted. "Sensed me? But I'm human. I don't have any special abilities." Yet when you published your research, when you described the electromagnetic symphony of bonded pairs in Thalassa's oceans, I felt it, she whispered, her voice dropping to barely audible. The resonance. Your consciousness calling to mine across the vast emptiness of space. She leaned in, her lips nearly brushing his ear, her whisper sending shivers down his spine. I want you to continue my line, Marcus. Not as a political arrangement, but as my chosen heart bond. My equal. My love. Marcus stepped back, his mind reeling. The Empress, this ethereal, impossible being, was proposing not just romance but a complete transformation of his existence. Her violet eyes held vulnerability now, the mighty ruler revealing her heart's desire. I know this is overwhelming, she continued, maintaining the distance he'd created. Your answer isn't required immediately. Stay here as my guest. Learn about my people, our ways. Let me show you what we could be together. The dance of understanding. 3 weeks passed in a blur of discovery. Marcus found himself drawn into Lirelay's world, each day revealing new facets of both the Empire and its enigmatic ruler. She introduced him to the Heartbond meditation chambers, where consciousness could merge with another's through controlled bioelectric fields. Their first attempt left him gasping, overwhelmed by the brief glimpse into her vast, ancient mind, centuries of loneliness masked by duty. You felt it, she said softly, steadying him with gentle hands on his shoulders. The connection. It's really there. Their most intimate moments came in her private observatory, a dome at the palace's apex where she'd spent countless nights alone among the stars. She taught him to read celestial maps with his fingertips, guiding his hands across holographic constellations. The warmth of her touch lingered long after she pulled away. Each star system in my empire has its own song, she explained one evening, activating an acoustic display. The room filled with harmonic frequencies, some low and thrumming, others high and crystalline. But listen. She adjusted the controls, isolating 2 patterns that seemed to dance around each other. This is us. Our biosignatures, translated to sound. The melodies intertwined perfectly, creating something greater than their individual parts. Marcus found himself moving closer to her, drawn by forces he couldn't name. It's beautiful, he breathed. As are you, she replied, her fingers tracing the air near his face, not quite touching but close enough that he felt the electric tingle of her presence. My advisors think I'm foolish, considering a human for Heartbond. But they don't feel what I feel when you're near. The traditional bonding ceremony came at the Moon Festival, though it was merely symbolic without their full commitment. Lirelay wore a gown that seemed woven from starlight itself, while Marcus had been dressed in deep blue robes that marked him as a potential consort. They were required to dance the dance of spirits, an ancient ritual where partners moved in perfect synchronization without touching. As they circled each other, the court watching in hushed silence, Marcus felt the pull of her consciousness against his. Every movement she made, he anticipated. Every breath synchronized. The space between them crackled with unspoken desire. When the dance ended, they stood facing each other, both breathing heavily. The tradition called for maintained distance until the bond was sealed, but Lirelay stepped forward, breaking protocol. Her hand cupped his face, thumb tracing his cheekbone. Forgive me, she whispered, but I can't wait any longer. Under the light of Stellaris Prime's twin moons, streaming through the observatory's dome, she kissed him. The touch was electric, literally, their bioelectric fields merging, creating visible auroras of light around their joined forms. Marcus felt her loneliness, her hope, her growing love, all flooding through the connection. When they parted, tears streamed down her silver cheeks. Stay with me, she breathed against his lips. Not for the Empire. Not for tradition. Stay because your heart sings the same song as mine. Hearts across the stars. The council chamber erupted in heated debate. Marcus stood beside Lirelay's throne, his hands secretly intertwined with hers behind the crystalline armrest, as Minister Corvus paced before them, his silver robes billowing with indignation. An interspecies heart bond has never been attempted in our 1,000-year history, Corvus declared, his pale eyes flashing. The genetic implications alone. The heart chooses what it chooses, Lirelay interrupted, her voice carrying imperial authority despite the slight tremor Marcus felt through their joined hands. The ancient texts speak of compatibility, not species. Your Majesty, another counselor interjected, the people need stability. A proven bloodline. This human cannot possibly understand the depth of commitment a heart bond requires. Marcus squeezed Lyralei's hand, feeling her frustration through their growing connection. That evening, after the council dispersed, she led him to a hidden passage behind the throne room. "Where are we going?" he asked as they descended spiral stairs carved from luminous stone. "Somewhere we can be ourselves," she replied, her formal composure melting away. The crystal caves beneath the palace took his breath away. Massive formations pulsed with natural bioluminescence, creating a symphony of light that responded to their presence. An underground lake reflected the glow, turning the cavern into a private galaxy. Lyralei pulled him toward a smooth stone formation near the water's edge. "I discovered this place decades ago. When the weight of the crown becomes unbearable, I come here to remember who I am beneath the title." She sat, patting the stone beside her. When Marcus joined her, she leaned into his embrace, her head finding the crook of his shoulder. "They're right. You know. This is unprecedented. I'm asking you to give up your world, your species, everything familiar." Marcus tilted her chin up, meeting those violet eyes that had haunted his dreams since their first meeting. "You're not asking me to give up anything. You're offering me something I never knew I was searching for." His thumb traced her jaw. "I feel you, Lyralei. Not the Empress, but you. Your joy when you watch the sunrise. Your fear that you'll rule alone forever. Your beautiful, complex heart." Tears escaped her eyes, crystalline in the cave's light. "Marcus, I." He silenced her with a kiss, pouring all his growing love through their connection. Her arms wrapped around his neck as she deepened the embrace, their bioelectric fields creating auroras in the cave's atmosphere. When they parted, both were breathless. "I love you," she whispered against his lips. "Not because of the heart bond, but because you see me. The real me." Marcus cradled her face in his hands. "And I love you, my radiant Empress. We'll face the council together. We'll show them that love transcends species, that unity between our peoples is possible." She kissed him again, softer this time, a promise sealed in the sacred silence of their secret sanctuary. "Together," she agreed, her forehead resting against his. "No matter what comes." The unity of worlds. The great plaza overflowed with beings from across the empire. News of the Empress's chosen heart bond had spread through the stellar networks, drawing curious crowds and protesters alike. Marcus stood in the preparation chamber, adjusting the ceremonial armor he'd wear for the trial of hearts, an ancient ritual no Offworlder had ever attempted. Lyralei entered, dismissing the attendants with a wave. She wore her hair unbound, flowing like liquid silver around her shoulders. "You don't have to do this," she said, though her eyes betrayed her hope. "The trial is dangerous. Some have died attempting it." Marcus crossed to her, taking her hands. "If this is what it takes to prove my worthiness to stand beside you, then I'll face any challenge." He kissed her palms, one after the other. "Besides, I have an advantage they don't expect." "What's that?" "I actually love you. This isn't political for me." The trial required him to navigate the labyrinth of souls, where bioelectric fields created physical manifestations of inner doubts and fears. Marcus entered the crystalline maze as thousands watched on holographic displays throughout the plaza. Each turn brought new challenges, visions of Earth calling him home, manifestations of the Council's disapproval, echoes of his own insecurities. At the labyrinth's heart, he faced the ultimate test, a mirror that showed two futures. In one, he returned to his simple life as a researcher, safe and familiar. In the other, he stood beside Lyralei, facing unknown challenges but radiant with shared purpose. Marcus pressed his palm against the second image without hesitation. The labyrinth dissolved in cascading light, and he emerged to thunderous applause. Even Minister Corvus bowed, acknowledging what the trial had proven: his love was true. The bonding ceremony took place at sunset, the sky painted in shades of purple and gold. Lyralei wore a gown that seemed to capture the evening light itself, while Marcus stood in robes that matched her house colors. The ritual required them to place their hands on the heartstone, an ancient artifact that would either seal their bond or reject it entirely. As their fingers touched the smooth surface, Marcus felt their consciousness merge completely. Every boundary between them dissolved. He experienced her centuries of memories while she felt his human determination and passion. The stone erupted in brilliant light, sending pillars of energy into the sky that could be seen from orbit. When the light faded, intricate matching patterns had appeared on their skin, living tattoos that marked them as bonded pairs. Lirelei turned to the crowd, her voice carrying across the plaza through natural acoustics. "Today, we don't just celebrate a union of hearts," she declared, her hand firmly clasped in Marcus's. "We celebrate the beginning of a new era. An era where love knows no boundaries of species or world. Where understanding bridges any gap." Marcus pulled her close, not caring about protocol or propriety. "I love you," he murmured against her ear. "And I love you, my heart bond," she replied, sealing their vows with a kiss that sent aurora lights dancing across the evening sky. As the crowd erupted in celebration, Marcus realized his life studying connections in nature had led him to the greatest connection of all, a love that would reshape the very fabric of the empire, one heartbeat at a time. The end.